understands those rap guys. They only talk to her because she looks like a total prostitute. Okay, I mean, her butt is just so big. I can't believe it's so round and just out there. Gross. Look, she's just so. Wow.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. Other brothers can't deny. And when a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung. Wanna pull up front cause you notice that butt was stuffed deep in the jeans she's wearing. I'm hooked and I can't stop staring. Oh baby, I wanna get with ya and take your picture. My homeboy tried to warn me, but that butt you got links.
He's so horny.
Oh, proper smooth skin. You say you wanna get in my biz, but use me, cause you ain't that average groupie. I see her dancing.
Welcome to Stronger Yoga. My name is Scott Anderson. And today we're going to focus on your butt. We're going to talk about your butt. Can we do that? We're adults, right? Can we talk about your butt? Okay. Well, a couple of things you need to understand about your butt if you don't know this already. So, your butt has three jobs. One of them is extension. And that is when you pull your leg back behind you, okay? And I'll show you these when we switch cameras. Another one is when your leg abducts, and that's when your leg moves away from the center of your body. The third time that you use your butt is when you internally rotate your hip. So what we're gonna focus on is developing a practice around some therapeutic and strengthening exercises for your butt cheeks. And we're going to start right now. All right, how's everybody doing today? Welcome. Today is going to be butt training, okay? Now, let's talk about lazy asses. You know what happens to lazy asses? They get fired. They get fired. Okay, I'm gonna walk towards this camera. You know what I didn't do? I didn't turn on a bunch of lights. It's always something when you're live, man. I gotta turn these on because I need you guys to see all of this right here. Now, see that yellow line? Keep your eyes above that line. Eyes up here, okay? We're gonna focus on knowledge. Now, your butt, like I said, does three primary things. It's extension. That means that's when your leg goes behind you, okay? The other thing is abduction, and that's when your leg moves away from the center of your body, and that's this direction. A good way to think about the difference between abduction, when your leg goes out, and adduction, when your leg comes in, is abduction is like an alien is beaming your leg up to the sky. It's being abducted, right? For an anal probe. And adduction is when this leg is added to this leg. So, abduction. The third thing is internal rotation. So if you bend your knee, which is the best way to see this? This way. If you bend your knee and then pull your foot out to the side, that's internal rotation. It means the thigh is moving inward, all right? So those are the three things that we're gonna work on today, is getting the glutes to do that well. And the reason why they may not is two things usually. It's either inhibition. There's an opposing muscle that is too tight or too strong, and the glute is too weak. Remember, lazy asses get fired. We're gonna fire your butt. The other reason is, what's that called? Synergistic dominance. And that means that your hamstrings try to do more of the work that your butt should be doing. They try to be good friends. You ever have a friend like that? They're trying to be helpful, but they're not, okay? So let's jump into it, guys. I want you to step your feet nice and wide apart. And the first thing that we want to do is just get those knees bent and just start moving, because moving lubricates your joints, so lube them up. Oh man, this is a sexy class today. We're talking about butts and we're talking about lube. Like, who else has a yoga class like this? Come on now. Now, Turn both toes forward so that they're facing the long edge of the mat. And just a quick word, your screen, whatever you're looking at, is probably best served at the long edge, because that's the way this camera, I go to this camera quite a bit versus the short edge. Turn your right foot out, bend your knee 3 times. 1, and try to push the knee over the toes. 2 and 3. We're going to do the other side. Turn your left foot out and bend that knee once. And you're trying to get your knee to go straight over your second toe. Straight over that second toe. So we're really mindful of the path that the knee is taking, all right? Turn the left foot in and simply hinge forward. Place your fingertips on the floor like you're leaving 10 fingerprints for CSI. Bend your knees, stick out your butt, and polish the park bench. That means bend your knees in such a way that your butt slides from side to side without lifting. Again, little micro movements. And we're gonna toe heel the feet back in and step back to the center of the mat. Lift your left leg into the air. All we're gonna do is hold this left leg up into the air, and we're gonna try to do that without leaning backwards. So from the side, that would look like this. That would be me going back to try to hold my leg up. Instead, pull your groin back and lift your heart, and then lift the knee and point the foot down. That's everything your left side is doing. You don't have to think about what your right side is doing, because if you reach back and grab your right butt cheek, again, we're all adults here, okay? Put your hand on your right butt cheek. I'll bet you that thing is pretty solid. Oh yeah. Now we're gonna point the knee down and try to point the big toe up at the ceiling, and then just hinge and turn, and then come back to center. Lift the knee, bring your knee back and turn, and lift the knee. Take the knee back and turn, and then bring your knee back up. Grab your shin and pull it away from the floor. That looks like this. And again, make sure you're not leaning back, but you're sticking out your butt and lifting your leg and pressing your chest against your shirt. And then plant that left foot. Let's do the other side. Just lift your right knee up into the air and point your toes down, lift your knee up, pull your groin back and lift your heart so that you're standing on one leg with good posture. Grab your left butt cheek. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm feeling it. Now we're going to keep this knee bent. In fact, imagine trying to grab one of those little tiny oranges or a tennis ball at the back of your knee and hold on to it while you draw your knee down and turn. And then come back to center and lift your knee up. Draw your leg back and turn. Lift your knee up in front of you, pull your knee behind you and turn one more time. Lift your knee up, grab your shin, lift it away from the ground while you pull your groin back. Remember, lifting your leg isn't your back's job, okay? We're using the arms. Groin goes back, the heart goes up. Put your chest against your shirt. Stretch your shirt with your nipples. Oh, this is a very sexy class. That's why I became a yoga teacher, so I could say like nipple and lube with complete integrity. Release. Now we're going to go turn to the long side of the short side of the mat to the left, and we're simply going to plant the hands and step back, because if these lazy asses don't get going, they're going to get fired. Spread your fingers, press your butt back to the back edge of your mat, so bend your knees a little bit. As you inhale, lift your heels. As you exhale, lower your heels. Listen carefully. As you inhale, come forward, keep your knees bent, but keep your knees off the floor, okay? And then push back. We're going to keep those knees bent the whole time. Heels up, heels down, chest forward. Knees close to the floor, but not on it. Push back, keep the knees bent. Lift the heels, press them down, come forward. Knees almost touch the floor. Push back one more time. Heels up. Heels down, heart forward, and push back. Step your feet in slightly, And lift your right leg up into the air. And step forward. Pause in your low lunge. And reach your right hand up. So I'm always trying to design a flow in which it comes full circle. So if I play my cards right, this class is going to end very much in the way in which it began. Reach your right hand up. But the fact that your body isn't falling to the floor is in large part right now due to your left hip flexor. Reach down and step to the top of your space. Place your hands on your knees and flatten your back. Bring your spine parallel to the floor. Pull your collarbones away from your thighs. Take a deep breath here while you try to pull your pubic bones away from this top edge of your mat. And that is you, if you can see me, trying to take this roundness out of my back, this flatness out of my lumbar, and lift the butt cheeks till I got my lumbar curve again. Plant your hands and step your right foot back. We don't always want the pelvis in an anterior tilt, but we don't want to forget what that feels like either. Reach your left hand up. Look up at your thumb. Hold it here. And again, the reason why your body isn't falling to the floor is you're engaging your right hip flexor and pushing down into the ball of your right foot. Now, I mention that because your hip flexor is the muscle that primarily opposes your glutes. So we want to know what those are, because if we're talking about inhibition, it means that the hip flexors are too tight or too strong, and the glutes are too weak. Reach down, step back. And that's a gross oversimplification, but it gives us a place to start. Step back into downward facing dog or crouching cat. And then lower your knees all the way to the floor this time. We're going to go through one more warm-up for the hips and for the glutes. And I want you to slide your right foot straight back, okay? Now, typically, if we were to lift that right leg into the air right now, we might dip the belly to lift the leg. And that means that the back is doing the work of the glute. So what we want to do is keep our foot on the floor. So all I want you to do is slide your right foot off the back of your mat, and then slide it forward again, bending the knee and trying to get your knee over your thumbs. Again, that's hip flexion. And when we slide the foot all the way back and keep it on the floor, that begins hip extension without the back trying to do the work. Let's do that one more time. Slide your foot forward until your knee comes over your thumb, and slide your foot back. Lower the right knee down, slide the left foot all the way back, and then slide knee over thumb. Slide your foot back. Pretty simple start here. What we want to do is master mechanics, and then we can start to add load. Slide your knee over your thumb, slide your foot back. Nice. Now we're going to take right foot back and press back, and let's do a not too fast salutation, but let's get the body moving so that we produce a little bit of warmth, a little bit of sweat. Lift the right leg up, breathe in. Exhale, step forward. Reach your right hand up, inhale. Exhale, reach down, step to the top. Rise all the way up, hands to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Lift your left leg into the air. Exhale, step back. Inhale, chest forward. Exhale, knee down, pull the hips back, push through the heel. Come forward, step back. Chest to the floor, push up, press back. Left leg lifts. Exhale, it steps. Left hand reaches up. Exhale, we plant it and step forward. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Right leg lifts. Exhale, step it back. Knee down, chest forward. Pull the hips back, push through the heel. Come forward, breathe in. Step back, chest to the floor. Push up. Press back, right leg lifts. Exhale, step. Right hand high, inhale. Exhale, plant it, step forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold forward. Left leg lifts. Exhale, we step it back. Inhale, knee down, chest forward. Pull the hips back, push through the heel. Come forward. Exhale, step back, chest to the floor. Push up, press back. Left leg lifts. Exhale, step. Left hand up. Exhale, left hand down, step forward. Rise up, breathe in. Hinge forward, touch the floor. Right leg lifts. Exhale, step back. Inhale, knee down, chest forward. Exhale, push back, drive through the heel. Inhale, forward. Exhale, step back, chest to the floor, push and press. One more set, the right leg lifts. Exhale, step. Inhale, right hand high. Exhale, reach down, step forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Left leg lifts. Exhale, step back. Inhale, knee down, heart forward. Exhale, pull back and push through heel. Come forward, breathe in. Step back, chest to the floor. Push and press, left leg lifts. Exhale, step. Last one, guys, left hand high, breathe in. Plant it, step forward, breathe out. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Right leg lifts. Exhale, step back. Knee down, chest forward. Pull the hips back, push through heel. Inhale, come forward. And one more time, chest to the floor. Push and press. Lower the knees. Sit to the heels. That's a fantastic start. Let's keep it going. No lazy asses around here. We fire lazy asses. Plant your hands. Tabletop. Slide right foot back. Slide right foot out to the side. Slide right foot back and slide right knee over the thumb. Slide the right foot back. Slide it out to the side. Slide it behind you. Slide the knee forward over the thumb. Slide your foot back one more time. Slide your foot out and leave it there. But I do want you to note that my heel is not on the floor, my big toe is. So we're trying to create a little bit of that internal rotation. We're going to take the foot off of the floor, lift it up, bend the knee, straighten the leg behind you, bring the knee forward, straighten the leg, lower the foot, slide it back, slide knee over thumb, slide the foot back, slide it out to the side, lift it off of the floor, bend the knee, and now try to point your big toe over your left shoulder. So now your leg is in extension. That means we're using the big glute muscle, the maximus. And then bring your knee forward, that's your hip flexor. Straighten your leg, lower your big toe, slide it back. Last one, we're gonna do everything. We want knee over thumb. The foot slides back, slides out to the side. It lifts up, the knee bends, we go into hip extension. Pull your knee out of your peripheral vision. Bring your knee forward, straighten your leg, lower your foot, and slide it back, and slide right knee next to left. Yay! That's done. Let's call it. No, let's not, because that's the biggest problem, is that one side is stronger than the other. So there's all kinds of muscular compensations for a muscle that won't perform its job. And that's why we do a lot of these exercises, a lot of these movements, a lot of yoga is based on unilateral movement. That means only doing one side. Plant the hands, here we go. Let's break this down into steps. First, slide left big toe back and slide it out to the side. We got that part. Slide your foot back behind you. Slide your foot forward till your knee's over your thumb or as close as you can get it. Slide your foot back, slide it out to the side. Now we're gonna lift and bend the knee. Straighten the leg, lower the big toe, slide it back, and slide forward till knee is over thumb. Slide the foot back, slide it out to the side. We're gonna add that extension now. Lift your leg up, bend your knee, and now pull your knee out of your peripheral vision over your left shoulder. It's like you're trying to point your right big toe or left big toe over your right shoulder. Bring your knee forward again so you can see it. Straighten your leg so you can see your foot. Place it on the floor. Slide it back. And then slide your foot forward, knee over thumb. Slide your foot back. Slide it out to the side. Lift it up. Bend the knee. Pull the knee back. Glute creates extension. Pull the knee forward. That's your hip creating flexion. Extend your foot out. Lower it. Slide it back. And slide forward. Last one, guys. Slide your foot out. Slide it out to the side. Lift it up. Bend the knee. And then pull your knee back. Bring your knee back towards your shoulder. Straighten your leg. Lower your foot. Slide your foot back. And left knee to right. Push your butt back into the air and lift your knees. And now let's try to use those ideas in a standing set of poses. Lift your left foot up and step it forward. Walk your hands to the right and rise up to face your screen. Turn your right foot out and bend your right knee. Hands reach away from your heart. It's America's favorite pose. All the kids are doing it, right? Or they're like me, playing Animal Crossing. So, if you're like me, and you've got to rock an island on Animal Crossing, your glutes are not, they're not very strong, right? Because you're sitting on them. You can't sit on any muscle and hope it'll get stronger. Straighten the right leg, tilt the pelvis. Let's bring it into a triangle. You can place your hand on your shin. You can place your hand on a block. Can you guys see the reflection on Iggy? There goes Gary and Tyler every day. Man, it's nice that there's some things in life you can still count on. Place the back of your hand on the inside of your right calf. Reach your left hand up. Just like the coronavirus, this is probably going to get worse before it gets better, but it'll get better. It'll get better, guys. Squeeze your left glute. Squeeze it. And when you squeeze your left glute, you're going to feel that left hip pull forward, right? Because squeezing your glute puts your hip in extension. Squeeze your left glute so you can feel that now. It's really important while we're on 2 feet. Place your left hand on your hip. Bend your right knee and place your right hand on the floor in front of your foot. Now the left foot is pretty far away from the right. I could kick and use momentum. Slide your left foot forward until you can lift it. You can grab a block and place it under your right hand if you need to. But the cool thing here is that while we're turning the hips open, that means that this left leg can lower below the hip line, as I'm doing right now. My left big toe is pointing at the short edge of my mat behind me. And when I lift it up, as long as my toes aren't pointing up too much, then I'm helping to deactivate the TFL. So we're going to try to point the toes down and then bend the knee and then pull the big toe like I wanted to point at my back. So you're pulling your hip into greater extension, straighten the leg, lift it up, lower it down, lift it up, bend the knee, and pull the hip into extension. Straighten your leg, lift it up, lower it down till your big toe points at the back edge of your mat. Let's do one more. Lift it up high, but keep your foot pointing down. Bend your knee, and then pull the knee back. Straighten your leg, and bend your right knee. Step back as soft as you can, like a ninja. If you're using that block, carry it with you to the other side. Turn your feet. Place the block in front of your foot and leave it there if you're using that. And let's come into Warrior Two. Spread your fingers. Close your eyes. and tap into your feeling of stability. That's you focusing on your feet, feeling your body sway, feeling your weight redistribute on your feet. As all of these muscles throughout your core, your legs, your arms, your shoulders, everything's engaged to hold you in a space that is still like a leaf on a pond, not a leaf in concrete. So if somebody came and put their hand on your hand and pushed down, your body would yield. It'll hold its space undisturbed, but it would also move if something moved you. That's the feeling we're trying to tap into. Now, I do this all the time, even though I don't need to, because it helps make me more mindful. It's a very tactile thing. Hands or fingers on the hips, straighten the leg, and then my left index fingers pushing down. My right index finger is encouraging right hip up. This. Oh, no, you didn't. Tilt your pelvis. Plant your hand on your shin, place the hand on the inside of your calf, or hold on to your yoga block and reach the right hand up. You know what we're doing? We're firing the right butt cheek. Squeeze it. Squeeze that bad boy. You're about to just rip a massive fart, and the only thing you can hope for is that your butt squeezes tight enough to stop it, okay? Let's think in terms we can appreciate. You're at a dinner party, you're super gassy, squeeze that glute. Here we go. Right hand to your hip, left hand on the floor of the block, and then slide your right foot forward so that you can lift it with intention. We're turning our body open as much as possible, and that's why if balance is tricky, it's okay to have your hand on a block. It's more important that we create a scenario in which we can operate these muscles properly. So that means if you're really wobbly and your chest is facing down, then what you need to do is bring the floor up to your hand and try to turn that chest. Here we go, guys. Lift, bend the knee, and then pull the knee back. Bring your leg straight, lift it up, and then lower it so your big toe points at the short edge of your mat behind you. Lift it up again, bend the knee, pull the knee into extension, and straighten your leg. Lift it up, bring it down. Lift it up high, bend the knee, pull the knee back. Now you know that we're using more of the back if your foot starts to drop and your knee starts to rise. So what we want to think about is when we're bending the knee and pulling the knee back, we're still lifting the big toe. Straighten your leg, lift it up, lower it down, lift it up high. This is the last one. Bend the knee, pull the knee into extension, and make sure your right foot isn't sagging or dropping. Straighten your leg, bend your left knee, and plant that foot as soft as you can, and we're back up to standing. Nice work. Slowly hinge forward and place your hands on the floor and bend one knee at a time. You're gonna hate this part, but I love you. Now we're gonna shift the weight over to the right foot. The hands are gonna step so that they're in front of the right foot. It's important to note, please look at the screen before you do this. We don't want to turn the foot out and walk the hands over here, okay? What we want to do is keep the right toes pointing forward, and there's a thumb on either side of your foot. From there, we're going to slide the left foot in until we can lift it without it being pulled back by the glute. First, we're going to use that hip flexor. That means keep your foot floating over your mat. Let me show you that on the side. I want to make sure that when I lift my leg, it doesn't immediately pull back here, okay? So keep your foot hovered over your mat, and let's all give that a try if you haven't yet. Hands in front of the right foot. Make sure your right foot doesn't turn too much. Lift your left leg and make sure your left leg is still floating over your mat. Lower your left foot. Slide your hands to the left foot, right leg, and keep it hovered over the mat. And then plant that foot. We're going to do once more on each side. Slide your hands in front of your right foot. Look over at your left big toe. Here's another way to know. If you lift your leg and you can't see your left big toe, that means your glute is trying to pull your leg up and step back. Slide your hands over to the side, to the left, and lift your right foot. Keep your foot floated over your mat and lower that right foot. Nice work, guys. Turn to the top edge of your mat and step back. Lower your knees down. Yes. Yes, that was nice. Now step your knees a little bit closer to your thumbs. Sit to your heels. Slide your hands back. There's those moments when you're practicing yoga where your body has to do something difficult, but it doesn't feel difficult because it's just the opposite of every other difficult thing you've been doing. What's that saying? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Lift your butt off the floor, press down into your feet. You can let your chin melt away from your chest so that you're looking at the wall behind you, upside down. Release. Lower your butt to your heels. And then we're going to place the hands in front of the knees and we're going to pivot 90 degrees to the right so that I can go to the other camera and you can easily see your screen if you need to. Now what we're going to do next is plant the hands and slide the right foot out to the right. Rise up. Okay, so what we did was we did this work with both hands on the floor, right? But now, since we've worked on turning while we were standing, we're going to plant that left hand next to the left knee. Try to keep your left foot behind your left knee in relationship to that camera there. So we want to make sure this foot doesn't come in, this left foot. Keep it back behind you. It doesn't have to be directly behind the knee. We just need stability. So left hand, left knee, left foot are trying to form a triangle, if that makes sense. Let's see what camera I'm on. So can you guys see that? Those 3 points of contact, left knee, left hand, left foot. That's a triangle. Now lift your right leg up. Again, we're in the position where our foot, the big toe can touch the floor, but the heel doesn't because that's going to help us turn that TFL off. Keep the chest open, right hand on your hip, and we're going to lift the leg up and bend the knee. Straighten the leg, lower it down till the big toe touches the floor, but not the heel. Lift, bend the knee, pull the knee back, straighten the leg, toe touches the floor. You're also going to notice that your left glute is probably firing too, right, to help support all this. Let's do one more. Lift the big toe. Make sure your big toe is pointing down, not up, and then bend the knee and pull the knee into extension. That's backwards. Straighten the leg, lower the foot, and rise up. Reach your left hand into the air. Slide your right hand down the outside of your thigh for a gate position. And let's stretch that left side and thank it for providing so much support. Just some deep breaths here. Release. As I love to say, and my students hate to constantly hear, make it your duty to work that booty. Plant your right knee, slide your left foot out. It's like we're about to come into gate position, but not quite. We're going to plant that right hand and make sure that your hand doesn't line up with your knee. So again, think about the 3 points of contact that you have on your right side, hand, knee, and foot, and create a triangle with those 3 points of contact on the floor. That'll make you very stable. I mean physically stable. Mentally, emotionally, you're a fucking mess, just like me. Now lift your left heel, so your big toe is on the floor, but not your heel. Then lift your leg up, bend your knee, pull your knee into extension. Straighten your leg, big toe touches the floor, lift it up, bend the knee, pull the knee into extension. Straighten the leg, big toe touches the floor, it lifts off the floor, the knee bends, we pull the knee into extension. Leg straightens, big toe touches the floor, big toe lifts, it's still pointing down, knee bends, knee is pulled into extension. Straighten the leg, lower the foot, reach your right hand up, left hand on the thigh, slide your left hand down your leg. Deep breath here. Keep breathing, keep stretching, mostly because I've got like 5 burps I need to get out right now. Try not to burp right into the microphone. Okay, that's better. And release. Plant your hands, left knee to right, and we're going to rotate back to the left 90 degrees. And the knees go to the thumbs. Sit to the heels. Now we're going to do what I lovingly call the Costanza. Do you remember George Costanza from Seinfeld? Okay, so this is the Costanza. What you're going to do is lift your butt off your feet, and you're going to lower your butt to your left of your feet, and then you're going to slide your right knee behind or under your left foot. You guys know what I'm talking about now? When George was getting his sexy photo shoot. Okay, so that's your Costanza. But here's what we're going to do. All you're going to do, and this is going to be really hard and you're not going to get much range of motion, okay, is you're going to leave your knee on the floor and lift your foot. I know, how much does that suck? Touch your big toe to the floor, not by articulating at the ankle, okay, but lifting and lowering, lifting and lowering. And if you get your foot off the floor a couple of inches, awesome, right? But you can use that knee against your left foot to keep the knee from sliding too much and just lift and lower your foot. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up and hold. Let's hang out here for a little bit. What should we talk about? What you watching on Netflix? Do not sleep on Money Heist. Release. Or a better way to say that is if you start Money Heist, you won't be getting a lot of sleep. Now we're going to do the other side. So let's make it sexy. Plant your hands. Yeah. Yoga's kind of ridiculous. Have fun with it. Have a sense of humor about it. You can take it seriously, it can be sacred, and you can have a good sense of humor about it, right? So, butts and nipples and lube, come on, this is hard. Let's try to crack a smile. And there's that foot. And remember, don't touch your big toe by articulating at the ankle. Let me see if I can go to the other camera so you can see. This is me making this all about my foot, okay? Doing this. So I want you to plant your hands. You can look back at that left foot, lift the heel, but then lift the big toe, bring it down, and you're trying not to move your ankle. You're trying to inner rotate your thigh. Now, some movements are difficult, right? And that's why they need to be done, but they seem simple. It doesn't seem like, what the hell am I getting out of this? I can barely lift my foot off the floor. I should be doing some fucking crunches and deadlifts and fucking really tough shit, right? Well, if something really small is really hard, we should probably focus on that. And, okay, no, I better not do that. There's a great "that's what she said" moment. You can rewind if you want to. And release. That was nice. Now, we're going to place our feet on the short edge of the mat, top of the mat. We're going to lie back. We're emphasizing quality over quantity today. So we're almost done here. Now, the next thing we're going to focus on is driving the hips into extension. But what we want to do is approach this from a unilateral standpoint. That means we're going to do one leg at a time. So here's a couple of options for you, okay? So you can watch this first if you need to, and then I'll give you plenty of sets if you missed the first one, all right? We're going to drive the hips up into the air and then take left foot off of the floor. From there, we can lift and lower, lift and lower. Now, if that is too demanding, or the harder version would be your left leg straight and driving. And again, we want to make sure that we're not just thrusting the pelvis into the air. So we want to pull the tailbone towards the right heel as we lift and lower. Now, the easiest option, I'm going to go from easiest to hardest, is to slide the left foot forward about 6 inches and just come onto the heel. Keep your heel in contact with the floor, but try to hold as much weight in your right foot as you can. This is called an 80-20 variation, where I've still got my left foot on the floor, but I'm using 80% of my right side and 20% of my left, bringing the hips up and down. The butt never touches the floor, but it goes up and down. The next version would be to take your foot off of the floor and continue to drive those hips up and down. And straightening your leg is going to add more load. Up and down. Now lift and hold. Anybody know what's Spanish for butt cheeks? Because butt cheeks in fuego. And fuego is about one of a dozen words in Spanish that I know, even though I took Spanish in high school. And let's bring that glute down. And I want you to take right knee to chest. You're hugging your knee, but you're really giving love to your right glute, right? And it's tough love, because that butt cheek's burning. It's your duty to work that booty. And if you don't use it, you lose it. You ever seen somebody, and I don't mean to be like really judgmental here, but have you ever seen somebody in yoga pants with a really flat ass? And like, you're thinking to yourself, your yoga pants say yoga, or your pants say yoga, but your butt says nothing. All right, let's place that right foot on the floor, and let's break this down from easiest to hardest again. You're going to slide your right foot forward about 6 inches and lift the forefoot so that your right heel is touching the floor, but it's touching the floor lightly. Let's take those hips up into the air and drive into the left foot. Now really focus on pushing your left foot down the whole foot so that it feels like you're leaving good footprint in concrete or mud, okay? And then lift up and down. You want your butt so close to the floor that it would be hard for me to slide a quarter under it, but I could do it. Up and down. And if you want to work a little bit harder, keep that right knee bent, but take the foot off the floor. Up, down. I like strong butts and I cannot lie. Now, if you want more, straighten your right leg. And that's putting some of that load out there. And it's making your entire body work harder, not just your butt. And when we do one side at a time, It means we reveal the weakness. And maybe you've noticed that your left butt cheek is having an easier time or a harder time. Lift and hold. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Release your butt to the floor. Plant your right foot if it's in the air. And squeeze your left knee to your chest. You're hugging your knee, but you're loving your butt. I love your butt, but don't get me wrong, as a friend. I like your butt as a friend. Plant your left foot and scoot your butt 3 inches to the right. Straighten your left leg. With your left hand, guide your right knee across your hips. It's not important that your knee touches the floor on the left side. It's more important that your right shoulder stays on the floor. So while you're lying there, here's a metaphor for you, and you can close your eyes if it helps you visualize it. Let's say you're holding a jar of peanut butter by the lid with your left hand. Now your right hand is in your pocket, and you're holding a jar of peanut butter by the lid in your left hand. And if you rotate the lid, the whole jar rotates. You're not going to get that lid off the jar. You're not going to get some delicious peanut butter. So let's imagine that you're going to smear peanut butter on your lover's butt. I mean, we're all in on this weird class today, right? So if you want to do that, you got to hold the jar in your right hand. That means that the lid will be able to twist off. You have to hold something in place. That is your right shoulder blade on the floor. Release. Plant your right foot, slide your left foot back, scoot your butt 3 inches left of center. Straighten your right leg. With your right hand, guide your left knee across your body. But keep your left shoulder blade on the floor. That's you holding the glass part of the jar so that you can twist the lid off, smear peanut butter on your lover's butt. I like peanut butter butts and I cannot lie. Oh, that pop was so loud you might have heard it on my microphone. This is how I save a ton of money off chiropractic. And the good news is I also saved a ton of money on my car insurance. Release. Plant your left foot, slide your right foot back, scoot your hips to center. For Shavasana, slide your legs straight. For a more therapeutic version of Shavasana, step your feet, keep your feet planted, step them to the edges of your mat, the long edges, and then let your knees fall against each other. And if you want, and if you're doing that, take your butt off the floor one more time. Lower your butt back to the floor. Straighten your legs if you like Shavasana, or cross your ankles, hold your hamstrings, and rock yourself up to seated if you like to end your practice in Sukhasana, as do I. You can always place a block under your butt. Rest your arms at your sides if you're lying down. Rest your palms on your thighs if you're seated up. Take a moment to focus on your breath. And while we're bringing ourselves into stillness and quiet, this is the best time to continue our practice, because yoga is not just about moving your body, strengthening your butt, releasing the hip flexors. It's about getting your mind right. It's about paying attention to your body so that your body will last you a long time. And I don't mean shitting in a bag. I'm talking about lively, healthy, strong, dancing at 100. That's my goal. But I usually end my practice by focusing on gratitude, and I have a very simple exercise. Just like I exercise my body, I exercise my thinking, I exercise my gratitude muscle. And it's a really simple exercise. In your mind, say thank you. Then think of a reason to have said thank you. So I'm just going to do that a couple of rounds so you get the idea here, because we could sit here all fucking day and think of reasons to be grateful. So here's a partial list of mine. Thank you for my beautiful daughter. Thank you for my health. Thank you for the food in my fridge. Thank you for my amazing supportive family. Thank you, my amazing, supportive, astute, and strong students and friends. Thank you for that delicious cup of coffee with an extra heaping helping of collagen. Thank you for this breath I'm taking right now. Thank you for this sunny day. Now I'm going to shut up so that you can go through your list. Thank you for joining me today. You can always support these classes on Patreon, Venmo, the Cash App, or PayPal. And if you don't have the money, God knows, who can't understand that right now? You could always support this class just by giving me a thumbs up if you liked it. Have a beautiful day, guys. Bless you. Namaste.